The Fairy Lover. The fire crackled and hissed as life escaped from sticks and seeped from turf that had lain long idle in watery bogs. Each new noise made him jump a little. Each spark that fell seemed fascinating to a mind that hungered to focus on something, attend to anything but the blank, white page before him. There was no sound from outside the cottage, though. At this hour, even the night creatures usually heard shuffling along on their business were abed. He had sat through the long, empty darkness, all alone, again, since he had banished her from the house. He couldn't have accepted what she had to offer. The price was too high, the cost too great to bear. Many had warned him, through long years of training, of the possibility that she might appear, or one like her, for there were many who sought the likes of him in this land, many who would pull and call and tempt and offer the words to a poet's soul. His masters had gone through it with each apprentice, and when it came his time to teach, he had issued the same dire warnings, extolled the same ghastly consequences. Out of the mounds they came, the Lannon She. Fairy lovers, bright was their light, their gifts, their love. Strong burned the creative fires that they stoked and tended in a poet's soul. His musical, magical, poetic inspiration. But with the gifts were balanced the ties that bind. For once a fairy lover gained entry to a man's body and soul, she did not ever give them back. Their love was a deadly delight. She had come to him first on a night just like this, a fire burning in the hearth of his small cottage on the hillside, a long and lonely night awash in the void of mundanity, with not a trickle or a spark of creative inspiration to be found. The gentle tap, tap, tapping on a window, thought at first to be a branch or a twig, but persistent enough to breach the miasma surrounding his heavy head. When he opened the door, she stood a little out of the light that spilled out into the night, stood back from the threshold, and she spoke to him quickly, offering all the things they had said she would, in a voice as soft as the velvet knob on a new calf's horns. He listened, and was tempted, and resisted, refusing to invite her inside, refusing to accept the offers, but knowing that his refusal bound her to him as surely as he would be bound to her if he had accepted. That was 3 moons ago now, and she had never left. Constantly calling, she haunted his dreams and shadowed the windows of his house as she circled each night. Her voice came to him, awake or asleep, whispering dreams when he had no defenses, tapping at his attention when he would try to concentrate or create. Useless, pointless exercises that served no purpose other than to frustrate him. She stayed beyond his reach, impossible to banish, although the run and cold iron charm his old master had recommended for the threshold served the purpose of ensuring that she could not cross, no matter the weakened state she found him in. He was safe inside. As he stared again at the plain white sheet that signaled his failure, his lack of resource, he realized that he'd had enough. As in a dream, he rose from the table in the center of his room and walked to pull open the door. Reaching up, he ripped the charm from the lintel, raised his arm and threw his protection out into the blackness beyond. And then he waited. When she came, it was with a sigh of silk that instantly calmed his mind and balmed his spirit. His eyes drank her beauty as she touched his flesh and entered his home. She would drink of his love and give in return, and his pages would fill with bounty until she took all that he was. And that wasn't the first or the last of the she ever to take a man. But sure, they're all stories for another day. So if you like this tale of Old Ireland, you can find a fresh one every month, plus a host of back content tales with the Tales of Old Ireland storytelling reward for just $3 a month on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Lora O'Brien and join us today. So I hope you liked the story. I needed a little bit of a balm for my own soul after the fate of the poor woman in the last story. So you're getting two in a row. So if you'd like to hear any more stories or texts or me reading anything out, well, within reason, obviously. Come on now. So if you'd like to hear anything, leave a comment below and I will see what I can do. Slán.